Hey, it's Ryan with S&B. Today we're going to be knocking out an install on our helmet particle separator kit on the Speed UTV right behind us. So this is our one size kind of fits all helmet particle separator kit. It's going to include all sorts of different roll cage mounting straps here. So on this Speed car, we're going to be using 1 3/4 straps. It also includes 1.5 inch, 2 inch, 1.85, 2.5 inch straps, and then all the adapters to go from the unit itself to those straps. The full wiring harness with the rocker switch and the unit's variable speed as well. It's going to come with 6-foot hoses as well as the hose hangers. So when that hose isn't in use, you can attach it up to the cage. It's not going to flap around, hit you in the helmet or hit you in the head. So super straightforward install. We're going to get going on it right now, and you guys can follow along as we get this put on the car. First step, we're going to start mounting the mounting hardware to the separator itself. So there's 2 of these pivot brackets. We're going to open up the hardware pack here that comes in this box. Get all our hardware out. We're going to use the smaller short bolts, washers, a little bit of this blue Loctite. Get that dropped in. And there'll be 4 of these, so 2 bolts on each side. Get these snugged up now. So we're going to mock it up in the car. It's going to change depending on where you want it. We're going to have it underneath the harness bar, swung forwards. So I'm not going to Loctite this yet, and just run this in tight enough in the hole position I think I want it in to keep it steady. And then we'll come back through once they're all in the car and tighten everything up. Next, we used 2 of the other short, big size Allens here and a washer, and I already went ahead and Loctited these because these aren't going to move. This is what's going to sit against one side of the cage. What we call our straps, so they're going to come in with this longer Allen screw washer nut, and then that's what's going to clamp this around the roll cage itself. So these are 1 3/4 straps. We're going to go ahead and get these slid over the bar. So put the bag over the cage. Slide the strap over the bag. It's just going to protect the powder coat. So when you're orienting this, really the only thing that's important is that the unit's level. So you can face it sideways, backwards, but it just needs to be level for the separation at the vortexes to work. So now that we know we're level here, we can start our screw. I'm going to start it from the front so it looks better. So we can start snugging up the first clamp itself. We know this isn't straight in the car yet, so we don't want to get it completely tight, but just tight enough where it kind of holds itself in place and allows us to work on the other side. So I went ahead and got it aligned in the car. I ended up moving down 2 holes right here. I wanted to push it further forward to get these hoses away from the rear passengers some more. So now that we have it set, centered, and we're happy with it, we're going to go ahead and tighten down the straps. So this is going to be a 13 mil and a 5 mil Allen. So get these snug. We can now go ahead and apply our Loctite to these side body bolts since we know we're not going to move it anymore. Got the main harness here. So on the separator end, there's just going to be 2 Deutsch connectors. These plug in. We'll fish it. It's easier to fish it separator end backwards, as these are a lot smaller than the whole relay block and everything else. If you look at the other end of the harness here, you're going to have your 3 main power, accessory, and ground. So if you have a bus bar, super easy to connect these 3 to it. If you don't, we do include some posi taps and then some extension wire here, and you can then grab this like a brake light, tail light deal, so that you can get your constant power, accessory power there. But for what we're doing today, this car has ring terminals for positive, negative accessory. And then on the other end of this harness is going to be our 5 wires for our rocker switch, and we'll show you this more, but these are all going to be labeled switch 2, 8, 7, 3, and 6. On the back here, each pin is going to be numbered, so 3, 4, 2, and then whatever the other 2 are. So you can just basically connect them all number to number, and then your rocker switch will work. There's a couple extra wires because it's an illuminated rocker switch when it's on and off. So yeah, we'll start running this from the front back right now. I'll show you on the speed car here. We're going off of our common ground right here, and then we're going to be using on this 10 amp circuit for our switch on, and then our main power off the bottom. So this relay block has the fuse included, 15 amp fuse specific to this, and the accessory key on just needs to be enough to trip the relay. So 10 amp will be perfect for what we're doing today. So we'll tie up all this extra up here, and then run the main harness down, show the tunnel apart, show you how that all works. We're removing the side panel here. That's going to give us enough room to get that wire fished under and then underneath the seat. So we fished the wire down, and now we're running it backwards in the tunnel here so that we can pull it out and get it over the top of the seat bracket back here. We got the 2 plugs connected on the front of the separator, and I've chased, this car has radios installed, so I've chased the headset connector here, and it already is zip tied all the way down, so I'll just add the secondary zip tie, and then we'll snip off all these main ones and tie both harnesses together. We go down the bar here, underneath the seat, into the tunnel, and up. So once we start zip tying our way back here, we can then start pulling that harness tight back underneath by the bus bar. Now we've got the harness ran to the separator itself. We can go ahead and tie up our relay block in that side of the harness. We won't zip tie up the side that's going to the rocker switch yet, as that's going to still need to be ran. So I'm just going to loop this back and forth, and then run a zip tie around the frame. So we fished. This car was actually pre-wired for a helmet pumper, but we wanted to use our wiring and our harness as we have a scavenge fan and a pumper fan in our unit, so the draw is a little bit higher. So we removed the factory rocker switch here that said air, but you can use any of these. We fished the wires to our switch down here, and now I'm going to get these all connected. So we're going to just look at our numbers, 3 to 3. Now we can go ahead and start connecting our power, ground, and accessory here. So we got our positive on the main jumper, our negative there, and then I'm hooking this key on accessory to this 10 amp key on. Now we're just going to secure the excess harness on the rocker switch side of it up here. Now we can go ahead and get the hanger itself installed. Lastly, we're going to set up the second hose hanger, and then we'll be ready to route our hoses and finish up the install. So now I went ahead and got our hoses routed. We're going to get sat in the car, put the headsets or plug the helmets in and everything, and make sure we kind of know where we want to route to. But for now, we've got them tucked up, I think, with how we're going to leave them. These cars, the roof racks make it a little hard. We normally put this hose hanger on the outer bar on the cage, but these roof racks are real snug. So we ended up going to the inside here, and then you just need enough slop so you can get it off and get it on the helmet. So we're going to leave them like this for the time being until we sit in here, and then you can just put some zip ties around the bar once you find how you want them permanently. But the install is pretty much done. We'll key the car on here. The switch will illuminate for S&B helmet right here. We'll fire that up. You'll hear both fans kick on. We'll make sure we have air, a ton of air coming out of here. And then we'll check underneath, make sure the scavenge fan's blowing really well. Our variable speed knobs right here. And everything's working as it should. So that's it for the install.